Are you tired of your feelings controlling you? Do you often act without thinking and then feel sorry about it later? Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary samurai, thought that real power comes from controlling your mind. In this video, we'll look at 9 effective ways to manage your reactions, remain calm in stressful situations, and answer thoughtfully rather than emotionally. Step 1. Pause before responding. Do you quickly respond when you encounter a tough situation? Have you ever said or done something in a tough situation and later wished you hadn't? If that's the case, you're not the only one. Most people respond quickly without thinking, letting feelings like anger, rage, or fear guide what they say or do. One important skill you can learn is to take a moment to think before you reply. Miyamoto Musashi, a famous samurai fighter, knew how important it was to have self-control. In a fight, a quick emotional response can determine whether you live or die. Musashi did not act on instinct. He watched, thought carefully, and only took action when it was needed. He thought that a warrior should stay cool and think carefully before acting. This idea is not only relevant in fighting, but also in daily life. When you take a moment before replying, you create a gap between what happens and how you answer. This space allows you to understand your feelings, think clearly, and decide what to do best. Instead of letting your emotions take over, you act with purpose and calm. This one habit can change how you deal with disagreements, make choices, and communicate with people. How can you learn to take a moment before replying? A useful method is to pause and count to 3 before you talk or do something. When someone says something that bothers you, try not to respond right away. Instead, take a deep breath and count to 3. 1, 2, 3. This brief break lets your thinking mind keep up with your feelings, stopping you from acting on impulse. Breathing is a strong way to manage your emotions. When you start feeling angry, frustrated, or anxious, take a slow, deep breath. This tells your brain that there is no threat right now, allowing you to calm down. Deep breathing triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, calming your body and mind so you can think clearly. Before you respond, ask yourself, will this still be important in an hour? What do you mean by a day? 1 week? Most things that make us feel strong emotions are small in the bigger picture of life. Learning to know what is worth your time and energy will help you make better choices. Musashi thought that watching and noticing things is very important. Before you respond, take a moment to look at the issue calmly. Is the person who hurt you acting because they are in pain themselves? Is the problem really as bad as it looks? By taking a moment to think instead of just reacting, you keep your feelings in check. Taking a moment before answering is a skill that takes practice. However, once you learn it, it can change how you approach life. True strength means not just reacting quickly, but thinking carefully before you reply. Step 2. Practice emotional awareness. Do you notice your feelings before they start to take over? Many people move quickly without thinking because they don't understand their emotions at the time. They allow their anger, rage, or fear to influence what they do, not knowing that they could choose a different reaction. Miyamoto Musashi, the famous warrior, realized that real skill in fighting and in life starts with knowing yourself. He thought that a fighter who doesn't understand himself can be easily beaten, not by his enemy, but by his own feelings. Emotional awareness is knowing what your feelings are and understanding them as they happen. Instead of having them take control, you watch them, think about them, and choose how to react. This takes being mindful, which means being aware of what you're thinking and feeling right now. Musashi took time to think deeply about himself, spending years improving both his mind and his sword skills. He understood that managing emotions was important for making clear and smart choices in battle. To build emotional awareness, begin by paying attention to what causes your emotions. What things make you feel angry? What types of words make you feel defensive? What worries make you feel anxious? Once you identify these triggers, you can start managing your responses. Before you respond, take a moment to step back and watch your feelings as if they were happening to someone else. Think about why you feel this way. Is this response needed? A great way to understand your emotions better is by keeping a journal. At the end of each day, write down times when you felt strong feelings. What caused them to react? How did you respond? What could you have done in another way? With time, This technique will help you notice patterns in how you act and learn to respond better. Musashi taught that a warrior shouldn't let emotions control them, but should use emotions to gain knowledge. By practicing emotional awareness, you can manage your responses better, which helps you respond to situations wisely and confidently. Step 3. Reframe negative situations. Life has difficulties, obstacles, and surprises. How you see a situation affects how you respond to it. If you view problems as dangers, you will respond with fear, frustration, or anger. If you see them as chances to grow, you will react with strength and understanding. This is the strength of reworking, a skill that Miyamoto Musashi learned and used in fights and in his life. Musashi viewed suffering not as a negative thing, but as a way to test his self-control and strength. After losing a fight, he didn't focus on the loss. Instead, he learned from his mistakes, changed his approach, and got better at his skills. He realized that every failure taught him something, and by learning from it, he grew stronger. This change in thinking helped him stay cool and composed, even during difficult times. Negative events are a part of life. You will encounter criticism, failure, deception, and surprises. You can either let these events defeat you or use them to make yourself stronger. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try to ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of thinking of hurdles as barriers, see them as steps toward success. If someone insults you, try not to get angry. Instead, use it as a chance to practice staying calm. If you fail at something, don't quit. Look at what went wrong and work on getting better. By looking at situations in a positive way, you gain power over your thoughts and how you respond. Musashi felt that a warrior is only beaten by their own thoughts, not by outside situations. If you understand how you see things, you will control how you respond. Step 4. Use logic over emotion. Miyamoto Musashi knew that feelings can change quickly, can be untrustworthy, and can sometimes trick us. A fighter who lets their feelings take over is already at a disadvantage. In a fight, letting anger or fear take over can cause you to make mistakes. Making decisions based on feelings instead of thinking can lead to bad choices, hurt relationships, and lost chances. To improve how you respond to situations, you need to practice thinking rationally rather than letting your emotions take over. Emotions are normal, but they shouldn't control how you react to a situation. How many times have you behaved quickly without thinking and then wished you hadn't? Maybe you sent a mean message, made a quick choice, or said something you regret. These answers are based on feelings instead of careful thinking. Musashi stressed the need for a calm and controlled mind that stays clear no matter what is happening around you. He thought that being emotionally unstable was a weakness that people could take advantage of. A great way to think more logically rather than emotionally is to take a moment between what happens and how you react. When something makes you feel strong emotions, like anger, frustration, or sadness, take a moment to think about the situation before you respond. Think about this. Am I reacting emotionally based on facts or just what I think? Will my answer make things better or worse? What would be the most reasonable way to handle this? When you pause to consider your feelings before acting, you allow yourself to think clearly. This process helps your brain learn to control quick emotions and respond thoughtfully instead. Musashi thought it was important to stay emotionally detached. This means you shouldn't ignore your thoughts, but you also shouldn't let them dictate what you do. He used this skill in fights, where his opponent's insults or aggressiveness could make him act carelessly. Instead of reacting with feeling, Musashi stayed calm and used reason to predict what his opponent would do next. You can use this idea in your everyday life, like during fights, stressful work moments, or personal disagreements. Another important approach is to find emotional causes. If some events or people make you upset, get ready ahead of time. Create practical coping methods so that when faced with a tough situation, you can think clearly instead of reacting based on your feelings. Getting good at this skill takes work, but when you learn to think before you act, you can take control of your mind and your life. Step 5. Develop patience. Patience means not only waiting, but also staying calm and in control during that wait. Miyamoto Musashi knew that being impatient can cause mistakes in both battles and life. while being patient can lead to success. A fighter who charges into battle without a plan is likely to fail. A person who moves quickly out of frustration or anger often feels sorry for what they did. True success means staying calm and steady even when things get tough. In today's busy world, being patient is becoming uncommon. We are used to expecting quick results, whether it's getting a reaction to a message, achieving success at work, or finding answers to our problems. Being impatient can cause anger, stress, and bad choices. Musashi taught that a fighter needs to know when to act. Taking action too early or too late can lead to failure. This is true in life as well. Knowing when to take action and when to be patient shows real power. A good way to build patience is to practice waiting for what you want. Instead of looking for quick benefits, practice being patient. For example, when you are in an emotional situation, try not to respond right away. Instead, take a deep breath, look at what's happening, and think about how you want to respond. This exercise helps you train your mind to stay calm under stress. Another way is to accept pain. Impatience often comes from feeling uncomfortable. We don't like to wait, feel unsure, or face challenges. Musashi thought that being uncomfortable can help us learn. When you learn to handle pain without reacting, you become mentally stronger. The more patient you are, the better you can control your feelings. You will not let outside events control you anymore. Instead, you will act wisely and with intent. That is the real way to become an expert. Step 6. Stay physically relaxed. Musashi taught that the body and mind work together. Tension in your body can cause tension in your mind, leading to bad behaviors. In battle, he stayed relaxed because he knew that being stressed would slow him down. Staying relaxed helps you avoid letting stress control how you react. Take slow breaths, stretch often, and pay attention to how your body feels. A calm body leads to a calm mind, helping you think clearly. Step 7. Don't take things personally. Most emotional responses happen when we feel like we are being attacked. Musashi believed that having a big ego makes you weak. When you stop taking things personally, you become unstoppable. What people say and do usually shows their own problems, not criticism of you. When you stop needing approval from others, you can avoid unwanted emotional responses. Step 8. Learn from past reactions. All your past reactions have influence who you are now. Don't dwell on past mistakes. Instead, use them as lessons. Musashi improved his skills by studying his past fights. Also, manage your feelings. Think about times when you didn't respond well and ask yourself, what could I have done better? Growth happens through learning, not by focusing on mistakes. Step 9. Cultivate inner peace. To truly master your responses, you need to find inner peace. Musashi was not only a fighter, but also a thinker who engaged in meditation and spent time alone. A calm mind does not act thoughtlessly. Find inner peace by practicing awareness, meditation, and taking time to think about yourself. The more relaxed you feel inside, the less the world around you will bother you. Controlling your emotions is something you will work on throughout your life. By being disciplined, aware, and practicing, you can learn to react wisely in any situation. If you follow these rules, you will become strong and steady, just like Musashi.